Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the second day of the Telegraph's Food and Drink Festival 2021. Thank you for joining me. I'm Amy Bryant. I'm the Telegraph's food editor in a sweltering hot kitchen. So if you are also in a hot kitchen ready to cook along with us this evening, kudos to you and thank you very much for giving up your time. I'll shortly be introducing Claire Thomson, our Telegraph food columnist, food writer and cookbook author. And Claire is going to be showing us all how to make sweet corn, cheddar and jalapeno bread tarts. And as a bonus extra, a sweet treat, her strawberry and mascarpone sandwiches. Before I introduce Claire and her helpers today, I'd like to tell you all to do one thing if you haven't already, and that is to turn your ovens on. We're putting them on at 190 degrees Celsius. That's 170 fan, gas mark 5. So add a little bit more heat to your kitchens if you wouldn't mind, and that will get the oven nice and toasty for us to put our bread tarts into later on. Let's introduce Claire to the stage. Claire, you may in fact have seen Claire in the Saturday Telegraph just yesterday with her family. She's joined by her two daughters today, 2 or 3, Ivy and Dot. Hello, Ivy and Dot and Claire. Joining us from Bristol, and they were in the newspaper yesterday with a lovely feature we ran of the guys camping in Herefordshire, which is something they love to do, and being outdoors, cooking over fire, making picnic food. So I'm thrilled that they've come back from holiday and they're joining us here to do this today. So Claire's a food writer in her own right, but is also a regular columnist in the Telegraph magazine, where you'll see her recipes for our Saturday Supper Club features. You may have her cookbooks. Home Cookery Year came out last year. There's another one in the lineup, so we'll be talking about that later on. Or you may follow Claire and indeed Dot and Ivy on Instagram at 5 o'clock apron, where all of last year throughout lockdown, they were making the most amazing live stream videos of their lockdown lunches, giving us all inspiration for what we've done in isolation and beyond. So without further ado, let's say hello to Claire. I'm going to occasionally disappear from screen, which will allow you to see Claire full screen and the girls as they make the dish for us. I'm also going to be cooking along, hopefully. So I'll be joining you all by making Claire's brilliant picnic food. On the occasion that I need to pop back on the screen to ask questions, I shall do that. And if you're finding that you prefer to see a little bit more of Claire and a little bit less than me, you're more than welcome to tell us. And we'll just see how it goes. If you have any problems or questions, just add them to the chat bar. So, Team Thompson, are you ready to go?
We are ready. Yes, we are.
Great. Over to you, Claire, and Ivy and Dot, and we'll follow along with you.
Okay, so we've got this white sliced bread, which I rarely use in my home cooking, but for certain things, this is good. So we want to take the crusts off, so just slice all those crusts off. It's a mummy job, I think, this girls. Ives, do you want to get the muffin tin behind you? And we need to just grease 8 holes. You can just use your fingers, you know. With a little bit of butter, and just, so that's plenty for 4. So just do that round. Do 8 of those like that, and I will get rid of all this. Right, Dottie, this is a good job for you. What we're going to do is we're going to push that in, really smudge it into the sides of the thing. You're going to make that like really tight. Do that, and you too, Ivy. Why? Oh, actually, stop. One second. Sorry, stop. We're going to butter them. Have we buttered these 8 here? So to each bread, we're going to butter both sides, just a little bit of softened butter, and then we're going to do what I've just done, Danny. So if I butter, you guys squash them in. We're going to make 8 tarts. You can really push them in, Dottie, because the bread is going to sort of bake hard. Just squash it down like that. Pull it up the sides. It's going to be like a little tart case.
The butter.
Yep. So we're doing that. One of those. Make sure there's no holes, but you can just sort of really push the bread into the holes like this. Let me show you. Push, 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 push. It doesn't matter if you've got holes because you can just do that like that. Okay, I'll do some more. I'm going pretty fast, but you know, hopefully you're all keeping up. Right, but I do have 2 little helpers. So that's 6, and we're going to do 8, aren't we, girls? I haven't buttered that one, sweetie. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, squish that one in. Here we go. Ivy, do you want to do this one, darling? The butter is just, what do you think the butter's going to do?
Like make it crispy and also make it not stick.
Bang on, Ivy. That is the right answer. Right, squish that down, making sure there's no holes. Yep. And the last one. Once these are in the oven, we can stop going quite so fast. Squish that down. Is that good? This one needs a bit of work. Take that crust off. Right, because this, usually, you know, we can make pastry, can't we? But we're not going to make pastry. We're going to make, the bread is going to become like a little pastry case. Right, so that is like that, okay? And that's going in the oven for about 12 minutes until crisp. Right, now, Dot, you're very good. We're going to make the filling now. So we are going to break some eggs. So crack it on the side of there. Yeah, into here, Dottie.
Wait, into
Yep, no shell. Perfect.
2 eggs, Claire, is it?
2 eggs, yeah. 2 medium-sized eggs.
Yeah.
Do that, Ivy. Hold the thing. There we go. Right, so now you're going to, one of you can hold the jug and one of you can beat it. And what's always useful, girls, when we cook is to season, isn't it? So a little bit of salt, pinch of salt.
Okay.
And we've got some pepper. A bit of pepper. All right, I'm going to grate this cheese. We've got about 80 grams of cheddar. You could use any hard cheese, really, any, you know, Parmesan, cheddar, feta, whatever, really. It's a sort of semi-hard or hard cheese, 80 grams. Roughly, you know, if you use more, a little bit less, it's fine. So we're going to grate that. So hot, the cheese is like melting. It's like butter to grate in here. So that. And then that's done. Right, so we're going to put some chili on some of these tarts, guys. But how are you feeling about chili these days?
Good.
Are you building up a tolerance to it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got some chives from the garden. I thought we'd do some with chili and some with chives, and then we can decide whoever doesn't want to have the chili. So I've got a sharp knife. I've got some chives from the garden. I'm going to just mind your fingers.
Wait, do these go in here?
And we're just going to wait until the tart cases are a bit cooked. So they've gone into a hot oven. They're going to take about 12 minutes, maybe.
Are those going to go in here?
Oh, we can put them in there, or we can not. Right, so we've got some chives from the garden. You know, cooking for kids, I've always found that, you know, you can start off with a little bit of flavour and keep adding, like a sort of jigsaw, really. So whereas Dot would, watch, that's a very sharp knife. Whereas Dot would struggle with loads of chili, she might have a little bit, you know, and gradually, over time, I think you can build flavour with kids and sort of encourage them to eat and try new foods, really. I mean, Grace isn't here because she's upstairs, but she is a great eater. And Ivy, I think you in the last year, you started really loving chili, haven't you? I would say. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to chop our chives. But again, you know, what's really nice about cooking is you don't have to be too didactic, I suppose. If you don't have chives, use parsley or tarragon, or, you know, just use what you have. And I think that's really nice about home cooking, is to be a bit flexible and not too stressed about certain things. I think that's the way to having a trouble-free time in the kitchen. So I've got some chili. This is a little jalapeno chili, but, you know, not too hot, sort of fruity heat. This is hotter. But so we're just going to do the green chili. We've got some chives. Okay. Now we're going to, this is little egg mix. Make sure that's beaten. And then You know, you should always season things, and you should always taste things when you cook, shouldn't you? So even though it's raw egg, you can taste to check it's got enough seasoning. I think a little bit more salt and a little bit more pepper. Here we go. Has anyone got any other questions apart from me shouting? No? Okay. Girls, so I would make this now, and we're going to have it for tea. The kids are going to have it for tea. But, you know, this is a great thing to make the day before and then put it in lunch boxes and stuff for children. I think things like this are really nice for children to take to school. It's not just a sandwich, the same old, same old, same old, you know. You can play around with the flavours. You could put chopped bacon in, or you could put feta, or, you know, I think essentially you're making a really easy freeform tart with bread.
Very versatile and quite nice not to be faffing about with pastry as well. It's a really good quick fix, isn't it?
Yes. Pastries comes with a lot of heartache for many people, so I think if there's ways to
it can be a joy. It can be a joy, but it can be a challenge, especially on a hot day like this. So I'm so glad we're not doing a pastry case for these tarts.
No. I'm gonna have a quick check and see how they're looking.
Yes, too. So just to recap, everyone. So we had 2 eggs. We have 65 millilitres of milk. Claire, you specified full fat in the recipe, but I've just used semi-skimmed. Is that okay?
Exactly. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. We've whisked that with a... Did you put your Dijon mustard in as well? A teaspoon, if you like.
We're going to put a teaspoon of Dijon mustard in. You could use English mustard as well. So we're going to put a teaspoon of that in.
Great. We've grated about 80 grams of cheddar, but as Claire was saying, you could use any hard cheese that you fancy. Doesn't even need to be hard. Could try feta. Coming up, we'll be dealing with sweet corn or peas if you want to use them. And the tarts went in for about 12 minutes. You might, Claire's just done, just have a little peek if your tarts are already in the oven, just to see that they're not getting too scorched. But Claire, over to you.
So I've got 1 sweet corn which I've shucked, and then I've boiled briefly in salted water. Really, I just cannot handle tinned sweet corn. I can't get over the sort of texture that it just goes so sort of flabby. So by all means, use tinned if you'd like, or peas. But I kind of fresh sweet corn is now where it's in season. I think I got 2 corn on the cobs for 90p in my local veg shop yesterday. So these guys love corn on the cobs, don't you? As long as they've got teeth. When they lose their teeth, it's a bit tricky.
Ooh. Yeah, I can imagine. It might be the cause of a few wobbly teeth, I would have thought.
Yes, no.
Yeah.
So just to talk you through the other stuff that we're going to be coming up later. So we've got these strawberries, which, I mean, that is a kid's job, really. They could hull those strawberries, take the tops off, and we'll slice those. We've got some just standard shop-bought lemon curd, some mascarpone, and then I've got some vanilla powder, but you could use vanilla essence or a fresh vanilla pod. I think this is really great stuff because it's much cheaper than vanilla pods, and it actually is just the ground vanilla pods that sort of you can get it in sort of catering hospitality industry, but it's a really good ingredient, I think. So we'll be using that. Dot's eating the butter already. Back off, Dot. Right, so we're just waiting for the tart cases to get a bit brown. So I'm going to check those now. They've been in for about, what is that? About 6 or 7 minutes now. Like, oh, that's pretty good. Look, can you see? They come out nicely. I think another 2 minutes. So, any questions? How much milk with 2 eggs? You've got 65 mils of milk and 2 eggs.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we're on board with that. If anyone does have any questions going along, feel free to ping them away. Claire, I love your creation of what we're going to do. Well, this one, but also what we're going to do next. The mascarpone lemon curd in sandwiches. And you rightly point out that if you're buying a loaf of bread to make these bread tarts, it's quite handy to use some remaining slices to make the sweet sandwiches afterwards. I mean, kids, how often do I buy this bread? Never. But, you know, for a summer pudding or these tart cases or like perfect sandwiches with the crusts cut off, like these strawberry ones, I think there are times and, you know, when it's fine. I think that's really nice about food, really, is no food is bad food. We can all eat every food. And, you know, I really encourage my kids to eat everything, really, broadly. They can have
the odd sweetie, but you've got to have more vegetables afterwards.
Yeah. The temperature we're cooking at is 190 degrees Celsius, so it's 170 fan, gas mark 5. If you missed that at the start when we turned our ovens on, so 190.
They like hold together as tart cases.
That's really good. That's very impressive. Yeah, mine has still got a little bit longer to go. But if anyone is at the stage Claire's at, you're going to put them in for a bit longer, Claire?
You know, chefs have a habit of everything. People often ask about oven temperatures and stuff, but everything goes in at 200. Everything goes as fast as possible. And that's just like everything's on maximum flame. Everything's on 200. Everything's cooked as quickly and as sort of almost aggressively as possible. I think that's being working in restaurants and being under pressure, really.
Absolutely. So what you're saying is we can be a little less fastidious then as home cooks about the oven temperature.
Yes, gosh, definitely.
Yes.
Like you just cook it till it looks nice and sort of crisp and sort of good colour. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I've worked in so many restaurants where different things are going in and out of ovens all through service, and so who knows what temperature the oven is essentially, but always in a restaurant kitchen it's always on max and you just cook until it looks nice.
Absolutely. And are there any dishes that that Dot and Ivy can make and like to make on their own unaccompanied?
Ives, what do you think? Oh, Ivy does a good scrambled eggs. He's pretty sensitive with egg cooking. Oh, and Dot's got her own recipe for
guacamole.
Guacamole? Well, Dot, can I book you in for the session that we do next? That would be amazing. You can show us how to do that. That's a great one, isn't it? Because you can get nice and messy by mushing up the avocado.
We, I just want my kids to know their way around the kitchen. So Ivy every morning will make her own breakfast, but she goes big on smoothies, Ivy. So what's in your top breakfast smoothie?
Banana and peanut butter.
Banana, butter, oats. Right, I'm going to get these out. I think they're going to be there. How are yours doing, Amy?
Yeah, let me just check. But I'll go to your timing, of course. But...
yeah. I reckon we're there on mine.
Yeah, you go for it. I'm sort of almost embarrassed to show you mine because I did them in such haste that they look a little terrifying.
No, look, this is what we've got essentially. Can you see? So nice and little freeform, slightly golden, enough, cooked enough.
Okay, mine's a bit more, open of wing, but nevertheless, they seem to be intact.
So this is posh, okay, girls, if you can. So using half of this cheese, or about that, sprinkle a little bit of cheese in each of those, girls, yeah?
Right.
That's perfect. So we're just sprinkling some of the cheese into the bottom of the tart cases. And then I've got my egg mix here. That's great, girls. Now what we're going to do is hot. Remember, this is really hot. Okay, so then we're going to top up the tart cases with the egg mix. Try not to go over the top. Do you want to do it, though? If it goes over the top, it doesn't really matter. But try to keep it at the sort of meniscus of the bread, a little tiny bit more.
Okay, so about how high up are you filling them then?
I'm going to about a centimetre below the line of the bread. Bread.
Yeah, okay.
And you can see it holds it. Look, here in the tart.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to sprinkle some. That's fine. We're going to sprinkle some sweet corn. So I've got one sweet corn's worth of one whole corn on the cob's worth of sweet corn. I think it was more than the 60 grams I've specified in the recipe because why would you cook half a corn on the cob, really? So I've done that.
Makes sense.
Into those garlic. So should we do some with chives and some with chilli? And then we can decide which we like, girls. So we've got some chives into some. We're sprinkling. And then Ivy's newfound chilli tolerance means that you can go hot into that. Here we go. So they're just going straight in the oven. Oh, a bit more cheese on top, girls. More cheese on top. And these are going to go slightly puff up in the oven because of the egg and go a nice golden brown with the cheese. That is a big lump of cheese, though. Right, into the oven they go. Now they're going to take about 16 minutes. Is everyone able to hear me and stuff? Now? Right, I'm going to get rid of this board. There's nothing worse in cooking than using a board that's had like garlic or onion and then cooking fruit. That is just my idea of hell. So
we'll let you clear down. Okay. So Claire, Christine Spencer has asked a sensible question. Could you use any other shop bought sliced bread, i.e. wholemeal, or do you find that white is best for these tarts?
Do you know what? I originally said I wanted to do it with wholemeal, so no, I think it'd be fine. Do you know what can go wrong? It's bread and it's going to get baked. Like there's nothing.
Yeah.
It's bomb-proof, really.
The properties are sort of the same, aren't they? I suppose it's just bread that you don't mind mushing into these cases. Yeah. You don't need to be too precious about it.
No, exactly. I don't know about gluten-free bread, how that would behave, but I imagine that would work too. I can't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got the rest of our loaf of bread. And
okay, so just to pause you. So everyone, if you're still making your tarts, do continue along. Hopefully you've got the recipe to hand that we shared with you in advance. And I think our tech team has shared the link with you here. So don't feel rushed. My tarts are still in the oven. The filling has gone in as Claire's has. I've made a right old mess in the kitchen. I've got bread crusts all over the show and grated cheese on the floor. So if you're in a similar mess, welcome. So Claire, Dot and Ivy are now going to show us how to make strawberry, lemon and mascarpone sandwiches. So if you do want to make these with us, join in now whilst the tarts are in the oven, or save it, make it afterwards, beat up and make it afterwards. What this is an incredibly quick, clever and easy dish that should appeal to children and adults alike. So Claire, back over to you.
Thank you. And talking about versatility of recipes and stuff, if you didn't have strawberries, this would be really nice with like ripe peaches or nectarines too. I would think like nice stone fruit would be delicious as well as strawberries. But strawberries are in season, and my children really like strawberries. So we've got. Here we go, girls. Who's going? You can do these together, can't you? This is a sharp knife, isn't it? This is a sharp knife. You're going to take the top of the top off, just like that, and then you're going to put the flat bit of that you've cut flat on the board, and then it's a safe way to cut. Then you're just going to cut nice thin slices, really. Or Dottie, do you want to take the green bits off and Ivy could slice? It's up to you. Work as a team. It's up to you. I'm going to take the crust off this. Dottie, probably finding this really funny because what do I spend my life saying about crusts, Dot?
Eat your crust.
Eat your crusts. And now here I am, completely fibbing to you and cutting all the crusts off. So I am cutting the crust off because I want those perfect little triangle sandwiches, really. Here, so crust off. And these crusts you could just whizzle up in a blender and you've got really good breadcrumbs. So don't waste stuff. If you can get away with it, use it. And this is a good example. It wouldn't work with a sourdough or something more crusty bread because that would be they'd be a bit too.
That's a good idea. And then you can freeze your breadcrumbs, can't you?
Yeah. I mean, this is perfect breadcrumb stuff. So keep those.
Yeah. Not going to waste.
Okay. Now we've got mascarpone cheese here. There's more going into your mouth than.
We're only eating one slice.
You can eat it. It's fine, sweetie. Right, we're going to do 150 grams of mascarpone cheese. It's 250 grams in here, so, just by eye is fine. Just plunge that in. Dottie is the #1 world's fan for what do you like?
Lemon curd.
Dottie is a big lemon curd fan. So, let me just get a spoon. Into this, we're going to put, let me just get it, hold on, about 80 grams of lemon curd, but you're just doing this to make it taste nice, and you're not going to sweeten this with any sugar or anything, so the lemon curd will sweeten the mascarpone. So a bit of that, mix that in, here Dot. This is a good Dot job, It's good, isn't it? Big pinch of these vanilla. I really rate this stuff, like I said, so get hold of it. It's just called vanilla powder, really. Gives the same nice speckle Just considerably cheaper than buying vanilla pods. Can you mix that, darling, together?
Did you buy that online, Claire?
Yeah. Bought this online.
Okay.
It's not in its first use, but it still smells incredible. So it's just the spent pods that are dried and then blitzed. Really.
Clever.
Yeah, it's really good baking ingredient. You're right.
But you could use vanilla paste or
paste
extract
or pods.
essence.
Whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've got perfect little neat squares of bread here. We good? How's that going, Dottie? Shall I have a go?
Can I taste test some?
You can taste test some, definitely. Go. Fingers are fine. We all live together.
Yummy.
Good? Right, and I'm going to get you a knife, Dot, and then you're going to spread these perfect sandwiches.
I nearly cut it with the wrong.
Do you want to do this and then Ivy can carry on?
Uh-huh.
So spread it all the way to the edges. Perfect, perfect, perfect. That's probably enough strawberries, my love. You can eat the rest. Right, go right the way to the edges, nice and neat. And then Ivy, when Dot's done that, you're going to be like even more. Let's go a bit more generous, okay? Like a good smudge like that.
Okay.
Okay, and then what you're going to do, you're going to do absolutely obsessive strawberry laying. So maybe like that. Yeah, perfect. And another one, and then do it again.
This is fun.
Right. If I spread them, then you can. These would be great in a packed lunch, you know, as like the little sweet treat on a packed lunch thing.
Wait, did these ones on top go over? No,
Yeah.
I need one on this.
Perfect. You can put a bit more here, and then all the way to the sides.
Is there a strawberry layer?
Perfect, perfect, perfect. Your strawberry layer is brilliant. Ives, you can do that.
I'm finished.
Do you want this board? So it's on a board. Then
Finished.
I'm going to cut it. Dottie's just eating it. Right, I'm going to do little. Should we do squares or triangles? Perfect sandwiches.
Triangles.
Triangles. Okay.
Look, we eat the extra.
Would you think we should have these for pudding after the tarts, or are you going to have one straight away?
One straight away.
Okay. So we've got these little sandwiches. I think it's almost better with a serrated knife. I'm going to just. Okay, Dot, you can. I mean, beautiful.
Can I try one?
Try one if you want, yeah. Right. It's so hot in this kitchen. But we're going.
Isn't it? I'm quite tempted to also spread my mascarpone lemon mixture on the other slice of bread and put it on top. Is that okay?
Yeah, do it. What can go wrong, really?
Exactly.
They're all the way to the top. Nice. It's nice and lemon and strawberries and vanilla. I mean, they're all flavours that are just so delicious together. Mascarpone is a great ingredient to use like this instead of butter. Perfect, Ives. That's perfect. While you're doing those, girls, I'm just going to quickly check on the oven.
Okay.
Yeah, they're looking good. I mean, this is a classic example of the thing I was saying about chefs. You know, I've never also worked in a restaurant where you're timing your recipes, like oven on, in it goes 18 minutes. You just cook it till it's going. So the tarts want to be puffy and golden, and not liquid in the middle, but a little bit of a wobble is fine because egg will carry on cooking when it comes out of the oven. So I have got no idea when I put those tarts in, but I am imagining now they've had about 8 minutes.
Yes, as you say, as long as it's cooked all the way through, then happy days. It's quite a forgiving recipe, this. That looks beautiful, Ivy.
Okay, sandwich that together. Perfect. Are you going to do this one? Do you want to cut it? You can if you want, it's fine. That's a sharp
Look
knife.
at this one.
Perfect. Right. Can you do this one? There we go.
Can I cut mine as well?
Okay. So fingers back. Here we go. You're going to sort of go like that.
What about the other
You're
bit?
going to go like that. This is a small knife, Dot, but it's pretty sharp.
While you're doing that, Claire, Judith has told us that Indigo Herbs sells vanilla powder. So it's the brand of sort of superfoods and whole foods based in Glastonbury, actually. So thanks for that, Judith. Good tip.
Yeah, brilliant tip. I really rate it. Dot, are you going? Why don't you move the bowl closer to you and then? This is really funny. It's so hot in this kitchen. I've been shooting my cookbook today in the kitchen. So the oven has been on all day. It's absolutely roasting in here.
It's making the sandwiches quite melty, isn't it? I was going to say, if one was making these for a picnic, say, you'd probably want to bosh them straight in the fridge, wouldn't you? Sort of like to chill them down before you go.
You know, if I was taking this on a picnic,
yes,
I would almost just take the mascarpone, the lemon curd, the bread, and the strawberries, and just make them.
Just get it there.
You know, it's like that's essentially camping. You know, like taking things that are really good and portable and accessible to use, and then making it good in a campsite. You know, you just need a bowl, don't you, and a little spoon.
You do. And actually, Ivy is demonstrating another reason to do that, is they're very unlikely to survive the journey to the picnic, I think, once made. So, yeah. Okay, everyone, make this on the spot if you're going to do them in the future.
Yeah.
Go on.
Or just have your mascarpone really. I've had my mascarpone out of the fridge waiting for this for an hour. I think. So it's pretty warm in here.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
I hear you.
I would say. Would you rate that as a sandwich?
Clever idea. And as you said, you can use all sorts of sort of different fruits.
It's delicious with peaches.
Oh, I can taste it right now. So a couple of minutes, Claire. Although keep an eye on your tarts. You just dropped a mention of the cookbook that you have been working on today, and that's the Campervan cookbook. Oh no, this is the tomato cookbook.
The tomato cookbook for next year.
Gosh, okay. So that's one beyond, isn't it? Okay, so you've been doing photography for that today.
Cooking a lot of tomatoes.
All about tomatoes.
One more mini sandwich? Why not? No, the Campervan Cookbook I wrote actually brilliantly last summer when we were all allowed to we were allowed to go about, on holiday and stuff. We didn't go abroad anywhere, but we went camping quite a bit last summer in Wales and Cornwall. And my husband Matt is also a chef, and we wrote that together with the girls. Ivy's quite a pyromaniac when it comes to camping. She's quite fond of lighting the old bonfire, aren't you, Ives? So we cooked. Yeah, we had a brilliant summer last summer, just traveling, cooking, and sort of cooking on the hop. Yes, thank you. And so this is the outcome of that, really. So whereas last year my book was home cookery year, and so many of us were at home cooking, it felt quite prescient, the title. This next one is all about cooking whilst camping. You don't need a camper van, obviously, but if you have one, that's great, because the good thing about having a camper van is often they come with a little fridge. Well, the one we borrowed did. But essentially, it's just a camping cookbook, easy sort of store cupboard, sort of accessible, relatable recipes that they're not going to be super difficult or taxing, because obviously you're camping and you're working. Dot is just eating like mascarpone.
I think that rule of savoury before sweet, I think, has gone out the window, Claire. And also, those recipes, delicious if you're staying at home as well. So, we can all live the dream from our own home kitchens as well.
But do you know what about camping? Because as a chef, I'm always wanting to cook, and I cook every day, obviously, and I cook from home, and I show that through Instagram and stuff. But camping really it's sort of, you do have to pare back your cooking, really, because you've got so much other stuff to do. You've got to make your camp, you've got to sort kids out, it gets dark. So essentially camping cooking is easier cooking, but the sort of remit of the book was that it would still be sort of interesting recipes, not just baked beans or something. But we ate well, didn't we? So we've got these little strawberry sandwiches, strawberry mascarpone vanilla sandwiches, of which I think the kids have already eaten about 7. And I'm just going to get a bit of a tidy up. Hold on.
Okay, great.
And the tarts, I don't think. I had no recollection of looking what time I put them in the oven, but they do.
Should we have a look? I would say under 10 minutes, I think.
10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm going to look at mine. Have a look. Yeah, mine are quite golden. They look like they're set, actually. They're
Yeah.
sort of,
I'm going to give mine a little check too.
a test, yeah.
I think that, watch this arm darling at the top. So, look at that one, it's really puffy.
Yeah.
Yeah, good, huh? I think they're there. Maybe that middle one needs a bit longer.
So they've risen and they've firmed to the touch then.
Ow. Yep, they are.
Okay.
I think the middle one is a little bit soft in the middle still.
Yeah.
For me. And then I'm going to get something to sort of lever them out, Will.
Okay.
Yep. Got a knife. Fail safe. So these are pudding, but I would possibly think about putting those in the fridge and then chucking them in the kids' lunchbox tomorrow as a sort of sweet treat. The thing about packed lunches and kids is just the horrendous levels of packaging that comes in all those sort of treaty, snacky stuff. And I find that really does weigh on me slightly. So I do try and mostly make stuff from scratch. Like I'll make a cake or something on a Sunday night and use that through the week or something. Just those endless packets of little sweet things that you can, and stuff like that is just plastic. So I do think it's better to not do that.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, at least you know what's gone into these sandwiches. You can, you know what the ingredients are. There's nothing sort of hidden, totally. Yeah. And the tarts themselves. Now, you were telling me that you think they are just definitely best eaten on the day you make them, aren't they?
Yeah.
But they could be eaten once they've cooled right down.
Oh, fine, and they'd be fine the next day too. They would be nicer. They're nicer going to be. What isn't nicer made that day? Apart from certain things, i.e., I don't know, a muffinetta sandwich or something. Random stuff that is better the next day. But these are fine. Just for dinner this evening, a couple of hours from now, cold. They're delicious.
Yeah. Bit of salad. Yeah, that sounds absolutely great.
Right.
Okay, coming out.
I'm going to get mine out.
Yeah, I'm going to get mine out too.
So, we've lost Dot. Oh, perfect. This is perfect. Can you see? Look, the base is like that.
Oh, lovely.
And the top's like that.
Yeah.
So, they are perfect, really.
Yeah, so they're roasting hot, aren't they? So I guess they need a bit of time to cool so the filling doesn't too burny.
No, definitely wouldn't want to put your knife into one of these. Right,
I'm going to try and fry mine out too whilst you are.
I'm using a little knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're beautiful. They look cool. And, you can put peas in, asparagus, put bacon. You could do chorizo, you could just play around with whatever you like. You could go even smaller and serve them as little canapes,
Freeze them.
Oh, yes.
Good question.
Thank you, Ivy. That is a question being asked by Nahid, who's watching. Thanks, Ivy. You've got the next presenter duty. Have you ever frozen them? That's the question. I
have never frozen them. I would worry about the bread going a bit soggy when it came back to temperature, having been frozen.
Yes.
This is the bread. You can't hear it. I mean, the bread is super crispy. And if you froze that and then brought it back to temperature, I think you might have a bit of a soggy tart.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So now maybe do a test one. Maybe make a batch, freeze one tart, so that you don't put the whole batch in peril, and then perhaps you'll tell us. Feel free to email us if you manage to freeze it. They look amazing. Now, mine are not as neat as that, but they'll all taste the same, which is great. So why don't we just recap what went into them, Claire?
The base is perfect.
Yeah.
Shall I go through the recap?
Well, please do.
So we had some white sliced bread, which we buttered on both sides. Then we squished those into the mould. You saw us do it. It wasn't some perfect thing. You just literally jam it in. As much as you can get it firm is perfect. Then we put them in the oven about 10 minutes until they went golden. Meanwhile, we got some 65 mils of milk, 2 eggs, some cheese. We beat the eggs and seasoned it with some Dijon mustard. And we made a sort of egg batter mix. Then we put some cheese in the browned out cut tart cases, filled them up with the egg mix, put some sweet corn in, we put chili on half of them and chives on the other half. And then we put the rest of the cheese and pop them in the oven for about, 12 to 16 minutes until they're sort of puffy and golden brown. They're rough hewn, but I quite like that,
Yes.
And then we've got with the remainder of the white sliced bread, which I never buy except for certain things like this. We did mascarpone and lemon curd strawberry sandwiches with vanilla. So that is one loaf of white bread with the crust cut off. Dot's just shaking her head because I
cut off but not wasted. I'm glad to hear. Well,
you can blend them and use them as breadcrumbs.
Fantastic. I've got my strawberry sandwiches ready to go, and I'm half tempted to have it before the tart cools down. Claire, Ivy and Dot, thank you very, very much indeed for bringing us into your kitchen this evening on what's possibly the hottest day in the year. It's time to open all the doors and turn the oven off. Yes. So for another thank you to Team Thompson, to Ivy, to Dot and to Claire.
Thank you.